The galaxy had always whispered about Earth. Some said it was a cursed world, others said it was a prison, sealed away for reasons no one dared to discover. For thousands of years, no ship entered its space, no records showed its truth. It was simply locked. The Council of Stars kept the secret buried. Empires rose and fell, wars burned entire systems, yet the story of Earth stayed hidden behind forbidden codes. Every navigator knew the same warning: never chart a course near Sol. And if you did not return. But rumors were louder than silence. Explorers, smugglers, and scientists all wondered, what could be so dangerous on one small blue planet that the galaxy itself treated it like poison? The answer began to surface when a forgotten probe returned. It was old, older than any design the Council recognized, its surface burned from radiation, its signal broken and faint. Yet inside its memory banks, one word appeared over and over. A single word in a language most had never seen. Humans. The name spread through hidden channels. Pirates sold fragments of data, archivists searched forbidden files, and finally, an ancient story reappeared. The humans were not extinct. They were not erased. They were locked away. On the mining station of Kareth 9, a low-ranking technician named Ralvin was the first to see the unedited message. He expected simple numbers, maybe a star map. Instead, he saw a face. It was not like any species he knew. The eyes stared straight at him, calm and unblinking, and though the image was centuries old, Ralvin felt something grip his chest. It was as if the human was looking through the screen, directly at him. He almost deleted the file. Almost. But curiosity was stronger. He sent it across encrypted networks, and within weeks, secret groups across the galaxy were trading human data like contraband spice. Each new piece only deepened the mystery. Humans were strong, beyond normal biological limits. Their history was filled with war, but also with survival. They lived on a world of storms, quakes, predators, and poisons, yet they thrived. They did not just adapt, they bent nature itself to their will. Then came the most disturbing discovery. The lock on Earth was not natural. It was deliberate. The Council itself had hidden humanity. But why? The question spread like fire. If humans were so dangerous, then why were they allowed to exist at all? If they were weak, then why hide them instead of erasing them? The silence from the Council was the loudest answer. Something about humanity was feared even by those who ruled the stars. Ralvin could not stop thinking about the eyes he saw in that recording. It was different from other species. There was no submission in the human gaze, no fear. It carried weight, as if promising something no barrier could contain. When a secret meeting was called in the backrooms of Kareth 9, Ralvin attended. Smugglers, mercenaries, scholars, even outlaws, all sat in shadows, speaking in hushed tones. They shared fragments of human history. Some claimed humans once reached the stars, long before the Council's age. Others said the humans fought wars against enemies that no other species had survived. One mercenary, scars across his face, leaned forward and whispered the most forbidden theory of all. The Council locked Earth away because they lost. They fought humans once, and they lost. The room fell into silence. No one wanted to believe it, but no one dared laugh. Beyond the Council's reach, in forgotten sectors, explorers began plotting courses toward Sol. They wanted to see for themselves. Some never returned. Others returned broken, refusing to speak of what they had seen. Yet one detail slipped through the cracks. The lock on Earth was weakening. Fading. Systems as old as the lock itself were failing. It was only a matter of time before Earth was no longer sealed. The galaxy waited. Some with fear, some with hunger, and some with hope. The name, human, was no longer a forgotten word. It was a storm waiting to break. And somewhere, deep beneath Earth's sealed skies, something stirred. The planet was not silent. The humans had not been sleeping. The truth was simple, but terrifying. Earth had not been locked to keep others out. It had been locked to keep the humans in. The silence around Earth was breaking. Across the galaxy, whispers turned into movements. Explorers, mercenaries, and even outlaw fleets were preparing to challenge the ancient lock. For the first time in ages, all eyes turned toward Sol. The Council tried to bury the news. They released warnings, false stories, and even executions to silence those who spoke of humans. But the harder they tried, the more dangerous the secret became. Everyone wanted to know, why hide Earth? Why fear humans? On the deep space freighter Havron's Oath, Captain Saris received an encrypted message. It contained only coordinates. The message ended with one line in broken translation: "See the truth. Humans wait." Saris was no fool. She had fought in border wars and seen entire colonies burn for secrets far less valuable than this. But something inside her stirred. Humans. The word carried weight. The rumors alone were enough to buy her freedom from debts if she could confirm them. She ordered her ship to change course. The journey was long, passing through empty sectors and silent voids where even pirates dared not travel. Her crew muttered in fear, but Saris pressed forward. Then, as their ship crossed the forbidden zone, alarms screamed. A wall of energy stretched before them. Not a shield, not a nebula. Something older, something that pulsed like it was alive. The lock. Her crew begged her to turn back. "No ship returns," they said. "No one crosses." But Saris had come too far. She activated the probe drones and sent them forward. One by one, they struck the barrier and vanished, not destroyed, but pulled inside like water into sand. The readings were impossible. The lock was not a wall, it was a cage. Before they could react, the lock shifted. For the first time in ages, the ancient system responded. Lights rippled across the barrier, old codes awakening. Saris's ship was scanned, stripped, and studied in seconds. The crew froze as a voice filled the comms. It was not machine. It was not alien. It was human. Unauthorized approach detected. Warning, containment breach risk. The voice was cold, but behind it was something more, something alive. The crew panicked, but Saris felt her heart pound. It was true. Humans were still there. The ship jolted as if something had pushed it away. The barrier expelled them, throwing the freighter back into normal space. Systems burned, engines screamed, but they survived. Saris sat in silence, replaying the voice over and over. She knew she could never speak of this openly. The Council would erase her and her crew. But secrets spread faster than laws. Within weeks, the recording leaked into the galaxy. Every race, every empire, every outlaw syndicate now had proof. Humanity was alive. Chaos erupted. Fleets mobilized. Spies traded codes. Some prepared to invade Earth, others to worship it. The galaxy fractured under the weight of one truth. And on Kareth 9, the technician Ralvin saw the broadcast. His blood ran cold. The humans had not just been locked, they had been guarding themselves. The voice was not afraid of the intruders. It was warning them. Far across the stars, within Earth's sealed atmosphere, chambers opened. Cryogenic halls lit up, systems rebooted, and ancient machines stirred. A single human woke, eyes snapping open after centuries of frozen silence. He breathed in, coughed, and looked around at the world that had not seen the stars for ages. His body ached, but his mind was clear. The lock was failing. The galaxy was watching. And humanity was about to return. The galaxy trembled with the news. For the first time in thousands of years, a human voice had spoken across the stars. It was only a warning, only a single transmission, yet it was enough to split entire empires into panic and hunger. The Great Council met in secret chambers, their voices sharp and fearful. Old rulers remembered fragments of a war that their ancestors had buried. It was never written in official records, but the truth lived in bloodlines and hushed whispers. They had fought the humans once, and the humans had almost broken them. The lock had been their only victory. But the lock was failing. On a distant moon near the border sectors, fleets gathered. Not official fleets, but private ones. Mercenaries, scavengers, desperate kings, all wanted to be the first to claim Earth. To them, humans were not a danger. They were a prize. Among them was Kale, a warlord who ruled with fear. His ships were old but brutal, his soldiers trained in raids and slaughter. He had no interest in history. He wanted weapons, slaves, and riches. To him, humans were nothing but a resource waiting to be exploited. Yet even Kale hesitated when the first scout ship did not return. Hours later, only fragments of its hull drifted back, scorched by forces no scanner could identify. The crew was gone, vanished without a trace. Still, greed was stronger than fear. Kale ordered more ships forward. Inside the barrier, Earth stirred. Deep underground, the first human who had awakened walked through the silent halls of an ancient facility. His name was Elias. He was not surprised to be alive. He had been trained for this. The cryopods had been built for one reason, to wait until the galaxy came again. As he walked, screens lit up, showing him data. The lock was weakening. Outside forces were pushing, probing, testing. The galaxy had forgotten, but humanity had not. They had been preparing all along. Elias placed his hand on a panel, and the machines recognized him instantly. Generators hummed. Satellites hidden in orbit activated. The cage was no longer silent. Above Earth, Kale's raiding fleet pushed harder. Their weapons blasted against the lock, their codes tried to slice through ancient firewalls. For a moment, it seemed the barrier would hold. Then, cracks appeared. Small, but growing. The warlord smiled. Victory was close. But when the lock shifted, it was not to let Kale inside. It was to let something out. A single human drone ship slipped through the cracks, black and silent. It moved with impossible speed, its weapons ancient yet far beyond what Kale's fleet had seen. Without warning, it struck. Kale's first ship exploded before anyone could react. The second followed seconds later. The fleet opened fire, but their shots passed harmlessly through shifting shields. The drone danced between them like a predator among prey. Kale screamed orders, but fear spread faster than discipline. His fleet scattered. Some tried to flee, others to hide, but the drone hunted them all. Within minutes, Kale's armada was nothing but wreckage. And then, as suddenly as it appeared, the drone retreated back into the lock. The galaxy saw the battle. Many had intercepted the transmissions. What they witnessed was not a dying world defending itself weakly. It was a predator stretching after a long sleep. On Kareth, 9, Ralvan stared at the broadcast. His hands trembled. He realized the truth. Humanity had not been locked away because they were weak. They had been locked away because no one could destroy them. In the hidden chamber on Earth, Elias watched too. He knew this was only the beginning. The lock was breaking faster now, and soon the entire galaxy would face what their ancestors had feared. He looked up, his eyes cold, his voice calm. "We warned them once. Next time, we will not warn." The cage was opening. And the humans were ready. The destruction of Kale's fleet spread across the galaxy like wildfire. No one could stop the rumors now. The recording showed everything. How a single human drone had erased dozens of warships in minutes, how it had vanished back into the lock without leaving a trace. Some said it was only one weapon, a relic of the past. Others whispered that it was nothing compared to what humanity still kept hidden. Fear grew, but so did greed. Many believed that if they could capture even a single human machine, their empire would rise above all others. The council, shaken and desperate, finally spoke. They broadcast a warning across every system, their words sharp and heavy. Do not approach Earth. Do not breach the lock. Humanity must remain contained. But their warning only proved the truth. They were afraid. On a hidden station orbiting a gas giant, a gathering of spies, scientists, and soldiers met in secret. They called themselves the Circle, a coalition of those who wanted to uncover the truth about humans no matter the cost. Among them was Ralvin, the technician who had first seen the human face on the old probe. He had become obsessed, and now he was determined to see Earth with his own eyes. The circle debated endlessly. Were humans monsters? Or saviors? Could they be allies? Or would they destroy everything? No one had answers, only theories. But one thing was certain. The lock was failing faster. Soon, Earth would no longer be hidden. On Earth itself, Elias continued his awakening. More chambers opened, more humans rose from their long sleep. Some were soldiers, their bodies strong and scarred. Others were engineers, medics, pilots. Each one carried the same memory, the same mission. They had been sealed away, but not forgotten. Humanity had not died. It had been waiting. Elias gathered them in the great hall of the underground facility. Their voices echoed against stone and steel. "The galaxy remembers us again," he said. "They fear us. They should. But fear is not enough. We must decide what we will be when we return." Some wanted revenge. They remembered the betrayal, the war, the lock. They wanted to burn the galaxy that had tried to erase them. Others spoke of survival, of rebuilding their world before looking outward. But Elias knew the truth. There was no choice. The galaxy was already moving against them. Humanity would have to rise, or it would be crushed. Above, the lock flickered again. This time, it did not open to let a drone out. It cracked wide enough for something larger. For the first time in ages, a human warship crossed the barrier. Its hull was black, its engines silent, its presence overwhelming. It did not attack. It only drifted, showing itself to the galaxy. The message was clear. Humanity was awake. The circle intercepted the signal. Ralvin watched with wide eyes, his breath caught in his throat. It was real, all of it. The humans were not myths. They were not extinct. They were here, alive, and stronger than anyone had imagined. But while some watched in awe, others prepared for war. Fleets gathered in the dark, ready to strike before humanity could fully awaken. To them, Earth was not a rising power, it was a threat that had to be crushed before it was too late. Yet none of them understood what they were facing. In the warship's command chamber, Elias stood before the stars for the first time. His hands touched controls older than empires. His eyes narrowed as he spoke a single sentence, carried across encrypted channels to every human awake. "The cage is broken. The hunt begins." The galaxy had thought Earth was silent. Now it would learn the truth. Humanity had not been prisoners. Humanity had been predators in waiting. The first human warship beyond the lock shook the galaxy. Its image appeared across black markets, council halls, and secret channels. To some it was a shadow of terror, to others a symbol of hope. Every world knew, humanity had returned. The council met again, but their fear was no longer hidden. Entire empires argued. Some demanded a united strike to destroy Earth before it rose. Others whispered of negotiating, of reaching out before it was too late. But deep down, even the strongest rulers knew the truth. No alliance could erase humanity if they were already awake. On the edge of the forbidden zone, fleets began to gather. Dozens of species sent ships, some to watch, some to prepare, and some to test their courage. They stayed just outside the lock, waiting, whispering, wondering. Inside Earth's command chamber, Elias stood among his people. The warship that had crossed the barrier was only the beginning. More were powering up, shaking off centuries of silence. Weapons systems hummed, reactors flared to life, and orbital defenses realigned. Humanity was not just awake, it was mobilizing. But Elias did not order an attack. He knew the galaxy was watching. He knew they were afraid. Fear was a weapon more powerful than missiles or lasers. Humanity had to let the fear spread until it consumed their enemies. Instead, he sent a message. Simple, short, but undeniable. "We are human. We remember." The message was translated into 100 languages. For some, it was a declaration of war. For others, it was a promise. Across border systems, rebellions rose, shouting the human name like a banner. Oppressed colonies saw a chance at freedom. Warlords saw a chance at power. Merchants saw a market of fear. Ralvin, the technician who had once seen the first human face, now stood at the center of it all. The circle had grown powerful. They had spies inside the council, smugglers in the fleets, and scientists studying every fragment of human technology. Ralvin was no longer a nobody, he was the one who first uncovered the truth. And he could not escape the weight of it. Late one cycle, he stood before a screen showing Earth's growing fleet. His heart raced. If they wanted peace, he whispered, why did they build weapons like these? But he also knew the darker truth. The galaxy had built weapons too. It always had. Maybe humans were not different. Maybe they were simply better at it. Far beyond, in the shadows of deep space, Elias launched his first move. Not war. Not conquest. A test. A single human strike craft slipped out of the lock and entered neutral space. It moved like a phantom, faster than sensors could track. It did not fire weapons. Instead, it hacked into communications across dozens of systems. For 1 hour, the galaxy was filled with the same broadcast, a view of Earth's skies, filled with awakening warships, with human voices singing in a language no one understood. Then the signal ended, and the strike craft vanished without a trace. Panic followed. Fleets scrambled. Leaders shouted. Some called it a threat, others called it a warning. But every species felt the same chill. Humans were not hiding. They wanted to be seen. In a hidden chamber of the council, the oldest among them spoke. His voice shook as he revealed what others had buried. We did not lock Earth because we won. We locked Earth because we could not win. We prayed the cage would hold. Now it is breaking. And deep beneath Earth's surface, Elias smiled. The first step was complete. The galaxy remembered them. Soon, the galaxy would kneel. The cage was not protection. It was preparation. And now, the predators were free. The galaxy was no longer calm. The name, human, spread like fire through every system. It reached children in mining colonies, soldiers in trenches, and emperors on golden thrones. For some, it was hope. For others, it was terror. The council prepared for war. They summoned fleets from every empire, gathering the largest armada the stars had ever seen. Thousands of ships, millions of soldiers, all pointed toward Earth. Their leaders told them the same story, that humans must be destroyed before they broke the cage fully. But soldiers whispered doubts in dark corridors. If the council fears them this much, they asked, how can we ever win? Ralvin saw those doubts firsthand. The circle had spies inside the fleets. Reports came in of deserters, of ships quietly changing course, of captains refusing orders. Humanity had not even attacked yet, and already the galaxy was tearing apart. On Earth, Elias stood before a massive screen showing the incoming fleets. His expression was calm. Around him, other awakened humans prepared weapons and activated ships. They had expected this. The lock was never meant to protect humanity. It was meant to buy time. And now, time had run out. Still, Elias did not order a strike. Not yet. Humanity was patient. He knew the galaxy's fear would work faster than any missile. He waited, letting the armada grow restless. Letting the pressure build. But the council would not wait. They sent scouts into the lock, testing its strength. The first wave vanished without a trace. The second wave returned with shattered ships, their crews screaming of shadows in the void. Yet the council pressed on. They had no choice. To hesitate was to admit defeat. Then, at last, the lock cracked wide open. The cage that had held Earth for ages split apart, its old systems burning out in flashes of light. The barrier was gone. Earth was open. The armada surged forward. Thousands of ships, all weapons ready, moving as one. For a moment, It seemed the galaxy had united in strength. But what they saw inside was not a weak, forgotten planet. It was a fortress. Human warships rose from the skies, black and sharp as blades. Orbital cannons burned to life. Defense drones swarmed in perfect formation. Earth had been locked, but never idle. Humanity had spent the centuries building. The first clash came like thunder. Alien ships fired volleys of plasma and missiles, filling the void with fire. Human ships did not flinch. Their shields bent, their armor held, and then they struck back. Beams of energy carved through the armada. Missiles moved with intelligence, weaving between defenses, striking only the weakest points. In minutes, entire fleets were burning. Ralvan watched the battle from a hidden outpost. His heart pounded as he saw the impossible. Humans were outnumbered 100 to 1, yet they did not fall. They did not retreat. They advanced. Inside his warship, Elias stood silent as human forces pushed forward. His crew looked to him for orders, but he only gave one. Do not stop. The Council's grand armada began to break. Ships fled, commanders argued, soldiers mutinied. For every 10 enemy ships destroyed, humanity lost one. And every human ship fought like a beast unleashed. Then, in the chaos, something unexpected happened. A single alien vessel, small, damaged, smoking, moved through the battlefield without firing. It did not aim at humans. Instead, it broadcast a signal in every language. We surrender. We will serve. Just let us live. Elias watched in silence. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he gave his answer. Let them live. Spread their message. The galaxy will understand. The war raged on, but the seed was planted. Entire fleets began to surrender, terrified of fighting any longer. Humanity was no longer just a threat. Humanity was becoming something greater. The cage was gone. The war had begun. And the galaxy was learning what it meant to fear again. The galaxy burned. The great armada, once proud and endless, was broken in the skies above Earth. Human warships cut through them like hunters among frightened prey. Entire fleets scattered, surrendering or fleeing into the void. What was meant to be the galaxy's victory had become its nightmare. In the chaos, messages spread faster than the fighting. Colonies that once obeyed the Council now whispered rebellion. Soldiers refused orders, unwilling to face the humans again. Fear was no longer just in the battlefield. It was everywhere. Ralvan watched from his hidden station, his heart torn between terror and awe. He had been the first to uncover the truth, and now he was seeing it fulfilled. The humans were not only alive, they were unstoppable. But he asked himself the question no one dared to speak. What will they do now that they are free? Inside the flagship, Elias stood tall. His warship glided through the wreckage, its black hull reflecting burning fragments of alien vessels. His crew waited for his command. They had proven their strength. Now the galaxy would expect their judgment. A transmission arrived. Not from an enemy, but from the Circle. Ralvan's face appeared on the screen, pale and desperate. You have shown the galaxy what you can do, he said. But if you keep destroying, you will only bring endless war. The galaxy already fears you. Choose what you want to be. A tyrant, or something more. For the first time since awakening, Elias hesitated. His people remembered the betrayal, the war, the lock. They had been caged for ages. Rage burned in their blood. But Elias knew revenge alone would not secure humanity's future. Fear was a weapon, but respect could last longer. He turned to his crew. The galaxy kneels already. We will decide if they kneel in fear, or in choice. Across the battlefield, human ships began to halt their fire. They did not retreat, but they stopped the slaughter. Surviving alien vessels expected a final strike, but none came. Instead, a message flooded every channel, every frequency, every world. We are human. We were locked away. You feared us. You were right to fear. But we do not return for revenge. We return for our place among the stars. The words carried weight beyond weapons. For those who wished to fight, it was a warning. For those who wished to ally, it was an opening. Humanity was not begging for peace, but neither were they promising endless war. They gave the galaxy a choice. On distant worlds, revolts rose in the name of humans. On council planets, rulers argued and panicked. Some demanded another war. Others begged to negotiate. The galaxy was split in two, those who wanted to destroy humanity, and those who wanted to kneel beside them. Ralvin listened to the broadcast in silence. He felt the shift, the turning point. Humanity had not just broken free. They had seized the galaxy's future. On Earth, Elias stood at the heart of the command chamber. Around him, other awakened humans nodded, understanding his decision. The cage was gone. The silence of ages was over. Now, humanity would rise, not hidden, not locked, not forgotten. He looked to the stars, his eyes cold but steady. We waited while they forgot us. We endured while they locked us away. Now they will remember. Now they will learn. The galaxy would never be the same again. The truth had shaken it once. But the return of humanity would remake it forever. The predators had returned. And this time, nothing would cage them.